Welcome, I am Foyleman, and you may know me from modsonline.com or for perhaps the weekly show modsonair.com or one of my other videos. And what I'm doing here today is trying to give you a tutorial in Left 4 Dead 2. Not a very beginner tutorial. I've already done one of those there for you. If you want to go back and check it out, you should if you don't understand the basics of mapping. I'm going to assume you understand the basics of mapping and take you on to the next very important part of Left 4 Dead 2, and that is creating the necessary areas that make it the Left 4 Dead 2 game type, and that being a starting point for the player and the survivors, the finishing point, which is the safe room, where they can close the door and start the next map, and then the area in between, where the infected spawn, and you have to survive your way through that. So I'm going to, like I said, assume that you have a basic understanding of how the game works. If you don't, please check out one of the other video tutorials that are available, or perhaps even head over to modsonline.com where you can get some more information here. Here you can see I recently posted something on Left 4 Dead 2 Skies that are available, and there's other tutorials and lots of helpful people here. You can also check out the developer valvesoftware.com wiki. The wiki is great for information on getting started and stuff like that. Great tools, great assets to have there in your toolbox. So why don't we get ahead? I'm going to assume you've got the game installed, Left 4 Dead 2, that you've got the tools installed, Left 4 Dead 2 authoring tools and the add-on support, so that you can play the mod information. And yes, I'm going to be moving quickly. Feel free to pause, rewind, whatever you need to do. I want to keep this video as short as I possibly can in order to save on some file space and that kind of stuff. And that you've already launched the Left 4 Dead 2 authoring tools, opened up Hammer, gotten yourself a drink, maybe a sandwich while it loads, and up it comes. And then you're welcome to use the map that I have provided for you. And actually what I'll do is I'll just say this map I'm going to provide on modsonline.com for download, so you can check it out there. This I actually have called Toot 101. I should go ahead and save this as Toot 102 start, so that you have a starting map in case you just want to load the starting map and follow along. Save, and then I will close up this map and open up another one. File open. I'm going to open up the previous map I just had. There you go. So now you can actually have a starting point. The same starting point that I have if you want to follow along with what's going on, or just apply this to your map. And what I've done was I've created a basic map, a little bit of a maze here. I'm not doing all this blocking for optimization purposes, which you should familiar yourself with, how to optimize a map properly, but rather in order to spawn the infected. It is important that the infected aren't like directly in front of the player, because they can't spawn directly in front of the player. So I gave them some places to hide. A quick route for the player to run through here, run around and over to here, and this will eventually be the safe room. No door, because we're going to be putting that in this tutorial. Okay, so here we go. We've got our spawn point. We've got some light. I put a basic sky in here so that we can get some light, and I don't have to place lights everywhere for you. All right, so let's get into making this game type that we want to do here. And I'm going to start over in the safe room, because that is our overall goal. We want to get to here. We need to put a special door here. Then we need to fill this up with some information for the player. So why don't I go ahead and start placing this door, and that is going to be an entity. The specific entity that we want here is going to be the checkpoint door. We need a prop door rotating. So I'm going to click the entity tool over here, go into the objects, and rather than scroll through everyone, I'm going to start typing prop, make sure I spell it right, door rotating checkpoint. There we go. Prop door rotating checkpoint. And I'm going to place this in my map. I'm going to click the floor so that it spawns right on the floor there. I could also place it in this area. I'm going to assume you know some of these, but some of them I may actually repeat myself on for you. And I'll double click that so that I can open up this and select the world model. I'm going to go to Browse. And sometimes when I first open this up, it doesn't show the screen, so I close it and click Browse again. There we go. And I'm going to filter for the door. And what we want is the checkpoint door underscore -2. So I am going to actually, instead of searching through all the doors, I'm going to go to checkpoint underscore door underscore -02. And I actually have two available. Why? Because one of them is a static. That's why. And we do not want the static one, because the static model will not open and close. So we want this one. I'll double click that, There we go. We've got that in there. I'm going to apply it, and I can close this out. And now, you don't have to double click on these to open them. You can hold down the Alt key and hit Enter, and it'll open up the object properties. That's another little hint. Okay, so now we need to position this door. It's sticking a little bit into the ground, so I'm going to zoom way in down here and put it right on the floor. I may have to change my grid. My grid's set to 8, so I'm going to use the brackets. There it is. Perfect. Right on the ground. And let's see, do I have it in between the wall? Let's go from the top over. There we go. And I don't have it at all in the right position, so let's move it over to here. And we will be putting a door frame around it, so don't worry about perfectly lining it up in this sense. Now, it's also important with the door that the inside of it reads dead end, wrong way, because we're not supposed to exit through this door. We're supposed to enter. That's why all this information is on the inside. That's important. I see our door frame is not big enough, so I'm going to go ahead and manage that. Let me put my snap to grid up a little bit so that I don't accidentally create leaks or anything. We don't want our room to leak. It would be bad if we had any gaps in anything when we're done here. And I will probably have to raise this up again and make room. I'll make room in a little bit. First, let's put in our door frame. So I'm going to put in the door frame. All right, I am going to select on the entity, and now I need our door frame, which is, in this case, it's going to be a prop static. It doesn't have to do anything fancy, anything dynamic, so I'm going to click prop static. I'm going to pop this in just here. I'll move it around in a bit. Go to world model, open it up, and in this case, I want the checkpoint door frame _2 _-2. There you go. I'll double click that. Apply. Now, I did not have to rotate my door in my particular map, so I will not have to rotate my door frame by the same number of degrees. But if you went in here and rotated your door, you will want to rotate your door frame as well. All right, let's put that door frame where the door is supposed to go. I want the door frame to, there it is, to butt up and almost go past the wall, because I do not want to be able to see through that at all. And let's take a look at the other side. Looks like it's a little off, so I'm going to click on the wall and move it over there. Good. Now we need to move this door up. And I should be looking at the floor because I want it to be perfect with the floor here. There it is, perfect. Now let's take a look at this ceiling piece from one of my side views. And it looks like it needs to come down. Oh, I'll go there. I don't feel like doing the grid one. I'm going to stick to the grid 2, and I'm going to move these two walls into place a little bit so that there's no gap. There it is. Now, if you look around, there's my wall and my door frame. There's no gaps, and, very important, the hinges of the door frame line up with the door, because that's going to be we want that to happen. That's important too. All right, so now our door is set. I'm going to hit Control S to save my map so that I don't accidentally ruin anything. And now I need to create our safe room, and the safe room has some special areas. Now, maybe you want to put in a table and put some equipment in there. I'm not going to go through that at the very, well, I'm debating it. I'm not going to go through that right now. Let's go through creating the area that says we're in the room, we close the door, we're safe, hooray, let's move on. And to do that, we need to create a trigger so that when the player walks in, closes the door, everything is triggered. So first of all, I need to create a brush that fills this entire room. And to fill it, well, first let's pick let's select on the brush creation tool, and then I'm going to browse for a new texture, and in this case I want a dev tool, a tool, which is the trigger, and which I guess I could have just filtered by trigger. There it is. Double click that. Now when I create my brush in here, fix the grid, I will have it already textured up. And I'm going, like I said, I want to fill the room. Now some people say that you should fill the entire room from top to bottom as well, and I kind of disagree with that. I like the idea of having a little gap on the bottom and a little gap on the top. The point is that the player cannot accidentally escape this trigger. However, at the same time, I want to be able to see this trigger that I'm creating. Okay, there's my trigger. I hit enter. So now when I move around the map, I can actually select it. I don't have to figure out how to get inside the wall and and see this trigger brush so that I can select it, because here it is. I could just skip my camera along the top of it. Now we want to make this an entity, so select your trigger brush that you just created, selection tool, select it, and go to entity down here on the bottom right, because you want to create an entity out of this brush that we did. We want to turn it into an info change level. Scroll down, info change level, apply. And now we want to give, well, we can name this, but we don't necessarily need to name this trigger, but we do want to give the name of the next map that we're going to be sending people to. I don't have a map to send people to. This is called, let's see, I am just going to create, I'm going to say it's Toot 101. It's not going to work. Well, it'll actually load the map, but it'll put us in the wrong place. That's information for another tutorial, I think. I don't think we have enough time to pop it in here. Landmark name, we will be adding that in a moment. So I'll apply the changes I just made, and I'm going to close this window. And now I need to create another entity in this room. I'll select on the entities here, escape. I don't want to be working on anything I don't need to work on. And I want to place it, I want to place right in the middle of the room, I want to place a landmark. Let's see, it is called, I'm going to go into the entities and start typing landmark, info landmark. I'm going to click on that. I'm going to place it right here in the middle of the room. Select. Let me try and get it in the middle. You know, some people say, again, here we go, that it's extremely important that this is in the exact center of the room. And it very well might be. And I haven't yet found an ill effect of like not getting it right in the middle. So I am going to put it in the rough middle here. What's important though is that this landmark, this exact landmark, I'm going to hold down the Alt and hit Enter to go to the properties of my landmark and give it a name. This landmark, I will call this landmark leave 102. Because this landmark is for leaving 102. I try and give things names that make sense. This exact landmark, it is important that is also in your next level. So if I wanted to go to 102, this landmark and its surrounding components need to be in the next level. Well, I don't know about the surrounding components, but it's important to note that you're going to spawn right where this landmark is, your height and your rough area. So that's why it's important. That's why they say put it right in the middle, and then everything is relative in the next level to this landmark. Okay, so now we can go through that in another tutorial, or you can ask some information over the modsonline.com forums. Now I'm going to go to Selection Tool, select my trigger, and now I want to give my landmark name. So I'm going to select in the landmark, select the eyedropper, so that I can easily just fill it right in. I don't have to type it all again. Apply my changes, and I can close that out. And now I've created the area that when I run into here, I now have my landmark that triggers everything that goes to the next level. Awesome. Okay, so now we have the idea that we run into the room. That should work for us just fine. Now we need to add a little bit more information here. I'm going to go over to the player start where the player is, and I need to add something that controls the way everything works within the game. And that is going to be the director, the info director. So I'm going to select the info director, and I'm going to place it right next to my player. I like to place it right where I spawn because that's where everything I feel should be directed from. And I'm going to see where it is, that it's not accidentally overlapping my player or anything. That is just right next to him. I'm even going to move it up a little bit like that. There you go. That's all I had to do with the info director. Now, with that information placed and the door set, I am ready to actually save my map again. And now I can compile it. So I can hit F9, or since I'm also videotaping this, I'm going to hit that key to open up the run map. And I'm going to compile it. I'm going to do normal, normal, normal. I don't want to run the game after compiling. And actually, I set this wait for key press when done compiling so that I'm going to hit compile now, so that I can actually look at my log without having to find the log file and see if there's any accidental errors. Are there any leaks anywhere? I don't see any leaks, so everything should be good. Now I can press a key to close it. And now we can open up the game. So I'm going to go back over to here and open up the game, and that's where we are going to continue. All right, here we go. Let me bring this a little bit more into position for you so it's easier to see everything. Okay. We are ready to open up the console and do some stuff. I'm going to assume that you know how to do this from a previous tutorial, some other information. And I want to type in here, map, and the name of the map I just created, 2-102, and have this load up for us. There it is. There's me. There's my players that have come along with me. And you'll see that I'll be able to run through this map to the door, and the door will work. But since nobody's following me, they're still hanging out over there, that it's not actually going to cause the room to do what it needs to do. That is, say the level's over. That is because they can't follow me yet. I need to create what's called a nav mesh. A mesh of navigation that tells the players, here is how you can run through the map, because here's obstacles that you can't run through. So I'm going to go back to where I initially spawned. Okay, and I'm going to hit the tilde key, and I'm going to type, I'm going to turn on cheats, because cheats are necessary in order to run some of these commands. So sv underscore cheats space 1, 1 to turn it on, 0 to turn it off. There we go, cheats changed to 1, great. Now I am going to make sure that I am aiming at the floor where I started. So my cursor is pointing at the floor, and I'm going to hit the tilde key, and here I'm going to say nav mark walkable. And when I let go of the tilde, you'll now see this thing sticking out there. That's the point. That's why I was pointing at the floor. I want to make sure that that thing ends up where I was just located. Okay, I'm going to open up the tilde. I know, I just want to keep showing you what's going on here. And I'm going to type nav generate. Nav generate. And that is going to generate my nav mesh based on everything that's going on inside of my level. It's going to create everything that's necessary. And then it reloads the map once it's done. There we go. So now these guys should have an idea of what's going on. Let's see if I can... there. So now they can know where to go, and they can actually follow me here. All right. So now what we need to do is we need to define, here is our home starting point, and way over there is our final checkpoint, the place where we want to go. So I'm going to position myself so I can see this entire area all at once. And if I can't really get it this way, then what I'll do is open up this and go to no clip, since we should still have cheats on. And now no clip lets me go fly through walls and fly all the way around. But more importantly, it allows me to see this entire area all at once, which is what I need to do for what I'm about to do. With no clip, I am going to type nav underscore edit space 1 to turn nav edit 1. Nav edit on. Then I want to open up the navigation, the GUI that allows me to do what I need to do. Nav GUI, and I don't have to turn it on or off, just have to type that. When I do that and hit the tilde, you'll see this thing shows up, but also when I roll over certain areas, they get highlighted. And that's what I was trying to do. I was trying to make it so that when I select the area, like this, I'm going to left click and select that area so that I can say this, select all the brushes in my immediate area and turn them into, this is where the players start. So I'm going to open up the tilde key and go mark space player start. Enter. And then it saves it as a player start in a nav mesh, but I'm not done. I'm going to now, I have to exit in order to move around in the level, so I'm going to go to File, Quit here. Now I can move around in the level, and I'm going to fly my way over to the exit room. I'm going to hope these guys aren't smart enough to shut the door behind them and finish the level on me. Okay, I need to see the whole room again, just in case they decide to shut the door. Okay, good. All right, let's try and see the entire area in one view. And now I'll go down to here, and I will take a nav GUI again, GUI. Graphical User Interface, that stands for. And I want to select all the areas in here. In this case, I only have one. But if I put a bench with stuff on it, or if I did anything else in this level, there would be a bunch of brushes for me to actually have to select. And now I'll open up this again, and I will mark it. Mark, space, checkpoint. They're all caps, by the way. And hit Enter. And this will mark this as the checkpoint, which is what I just needed to do. Now, what I want to do is I want to go ahead. That's really all the nav points that I needed to do. So I want to go ahead and save the work that I've done. I'm going to type in, I can exit the GUI, file, quit. I can type in this. I can do nav _ save. That'll save everything I just did. The nav has been saved. And now for everything to actually take place, I need to reload the map. So I'm going to open up the tilde, go map, space, and load the map to my 2-102. And it's going to reload the map, and you're going to see everything is going to start working. And there it is. Okay. Now I have meshes, everything that's going on, and I am going to start running through here. I hope that the infected don't get me because I only gave myself a pistol. Come on, guys. Follow me. In some cases, the AI actually, the infected will not spawn unless I turn on the infected. So I'm not going to do that right now. Okay, open up the door because these guys won't let me fit in. Fools. Okay, come on, Ellis.
Get inside!
Get inside. That's right. Now let's shut the door.
Take that, you mealy-mouthed
There
bastards!
it is. Bam! Now we're loading the next level. Awesome. All right. So that was the basic idea that I want to show you. How do you go from point A to point B? Right now it's loading up the next level, which, by the way, it is really, really important that you define a different level other than the same level. Otherwise, this will not work. You cannot load the same level over again. And you can see that now I am stuck inside the floor because I didn't have a landmark necessary where it had to be. Anyway, that's another tutorial. So now you have the basic understanding. I hope that this information was very helpful to you. If you need anything else, please feel free to stop by the modsonline.com forums, look for possibly some more tutorials or ask some questions if necessary. And until the next one, everyone, happy mapping.